Swedish Cav moved in and hedgehogged the rest of the infantry that was kind of near them. They weren't able to get out of charge, though. They weren't able to get a continuation. Then we went over to the Catholic infantry and marched forward into these guns. Now, I think I was cheating. I moved away from a unit. You're not really allowed to do that. I should have been swinging this way, but whatever. You can see I got kind of mauled by those guns and stopped. If I had done advancing fire, there would have been a chance of eliminating the guns before they shot at me. That's what I should have done. Given that I cheated and messed something up, I'm going to just let it stand. But this other infantry here marched forward and managed to shoot out one of the Swedish big infantry there. We got a pretty nasty pile across the board. I think that's well in the Swedes' favor, but I don't know if it's enough to win the game. Probably. Once we clean up the rest of what's going on here. The only real question is right here in the center. And as long as the Cav can freeze these units, it's going to be a rough job. I got a continuation here, but then, and that would have been important to rally this unit, that's going to start running off the map if I'm not careful. Then the Swedes got a preemption of that, so now they're going to be able to take their own wrath out on the Catholics. Now, here they're facing this way into this hedgehog shooting it. That's what they're going to do. They've got a lot of advantages going that way. And we got artillery here at this hedgehog. This unit is from a different command. This unit, though, is part of this command shooting this way. It's just all chaos up there on that hill. And charges by both sides on this front. The Catholics were able to recover and then mount a charge for whatever it's worth, and then the Swedes came back with their own charge. Have pretty much destroyed the Catholic force. We've got two routing units. They're both going to come off the map at this point. I didn't even attack this one. I don't have to actually physically attack. It's a routing unit. We can just let it keep running, and that's going to take the leader. That's going to take the rest of the command off the map. That clears up this entire front. Now I've got the remainder of Piccolomini's command down here to wipe out, and then I can maybe move back and handle the hill. I think it's over. It's just a matter of mopping up the rest of the Catholic forces at this point. Both Cav wings are destroyed. We got this one little force here. The Swedish infantry should be able to handle this with complete Cav superiority in place. We'll see. Swedish infantry. Oh, I forgot to do some fire. Hold on. Don't hold on. The Swedish infantry made an attempt to dislodge this unit from destroying the artillery. You can see the result of that. But they did destroy one Catholic unit there. Then the Catholics went into a charge, or kept their charge going, marching forward. They destroyed a tiny little Swedish unit. I didn't realize there were any this small. Double-sized unit with a size of 7. Wow. That just, I mean, I thought these 8s were small, but that thing just disintegrated. That's kind of weird to see something that small. I've seen 10s on single hex units. I don't know if they screw with the scale in these games. And fire from this knocked out one of the artillery. I'm going to fire again from this one. I can still do it. It's at -3 on the fire table, but it doesn't suffer any risks here at this point. And that's not going to do anything. I'm hoping to knock out the guns. I took one out, didn't capture it. Moved the leader up to handle this unit. He continued on, slammed into this, and the fire routed him. The Swedes all tried to prevent a momentum there, and every single one of them is marked no continue now, because they're only going to get one activation when they get their go. That's not too big a deal. There isn't much to deal with except for this infantry. So trying to trump in against it is actually a pretty effective ploy to prevent it from ever getting continuations. But, as you can see, it doesn't always work. Alright, on to the remaining Swedish units, which are almost all in charge. The only exception... Oh, geez, did I move the wrong guy again? I can't keep track of who's what. Yeah, I think this is the main command. which I did not move. This guy moved forward, yeah. He's part of the reserve. Yeah, all the Swedes have gone, are in charge except for the sort of main infantry force, for whatever that's worth. The battle's really kind of reached that wind down period where everything's moving pretty fast. I think I'll end up finishing this tonight. Yeah, and what's next? We got routing Catholics kind of sliding between the rallying Swedes at the bottom of the hill trying to make their way back up, and this hedgehog. These guys didn't really do much, but they did switch into make ready, which gave them more of a chance of an additional activation. We've got Leopold here has swung his troops back around from a rout and is now facing. You know, again, I think it's over for the Catholics, but they're trying to make this as ugly as they can. If they don't get an auto, if they don't get routed from the field, which it looks pretty likely they're going to, but I don't know. They're kind of running low on turns. There's only 4 turns left, and not a lot's happening on any of these. The artillery here, having a hard time finding a line of fire. Now, there is actually a good one right here, right now, but they did fire and found this kind of little path running through here that missed the cav that's behind them. But they got to be real careful to line up their shots at this point because things are such a muddled mess. Alright. Swedes kind of had a tough route where they couldn't do a lot. They could have charged back up with this. They had to pick one of their charge units. The unit they wanted to move is the make ready. The charge unit, the chances of that being able to dislodge this was very low, this guy back here. So instead they went over to their cav wing, which failed to get out of charge and is slowly charging forward. But then going over to the Catholics, these guys, their infantry formation was forced into a rally, and in fact they're going to have a hard time getting out of that. Oh no, they weren't. Shit. Alright. I had rolled before I noticed that to put them in make ready, so they have a chance to actually continue. But they did some fire here, knocked out that other artillery piece, which is very helpful to them. And now, and this one I believe is no longer captured actually, this is just disabled, because they've passed through that. Now they get a chance at a continuation there, which they're going to get, so they'll be able to rally this and maybe shoot in his ass. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, this guy's crap done. But so they did get a continuation there, but it was preempted using the army commander to bonus that roll, which meant he didn't get to help anything else. So these guys could turn around, face this, bring some units up. They were hoping to get a continuation of their own. They did not, but that's okay. At least they will. They prevented this from getting any worse than it was beginning to show up with some units without Hedgehog. This is the reason that the Catholics did not go into an automatic rally. They have one unit left that's not at least morale shaken or formation broken. I don't know where we are. We're still on Swedish charging units at this point. There's a bunch of them. Hordes and hordes of Swedish cav just surrounding those hedgehogs and doing the carousel to them, basically just standing in place, turning around, firing. This time they finally got into receive charge so they can start reloading those weapons. Catholics pull their cav around here to try to deal with this problem, but they've got 2 huge cav wings to deal with and 2 cav units to do it with. That's not going to work very well. Over here we can see the main infantry managed to chase away this unit, and that's going to start running away. This is really the end of the turn, but the Swedes failed to get any chance at a continuation because they got this guy knocked out. He's in charge of the infantry there. And oops, I forgot to fire. I got another channel shot going down there. Oh, no, I don't. I got Swedes all over there. Uh-oh. I'll at least turn them. Okay, so the Swedes managed to take possession of the hill by coming around hedgehogging this. Advancing fire broke it. But this unit, when trading shots, actually ended up breaking. It did a salvo fire hoping to drive them away first, but that wasn't successful. It still doesn't look any better, particularly for the Catholics. It's just a matter of, you know, delaying the inevitable right now, I think. All right, at the end of 10, this is the first time where it looks like I'm close to a forced withdrawal from the battle. The main infantry wing is under rally orders. The only remaining other wing is this little spare cav wing that was Piccolomini's. They've managed to survive the battle. They're the one thing keeping the Catholics from withdrawing from the game. But here's an interesting thing. The Catholic position is hopeless right now. They wish they could run from the battle, to tell you the truth. They're just going to lose more points. I looked up the rules on this. I thought it was, you know, some sort of more significant victory than it is. The truth of the matter is, it just restricts the running player from getting anything better than a draw. Which maybe the Swedes would rather finish off the remainder of the Catholics. I'm not sure. But if I can force them to run, I certainly will. And the way to do that right now is to attack these. Because, and I've already retreated the routing units, because the infantry command, although it may be worth a decent amount of points, I do have some worry because the Swedish goal is quite high in this scenario, I believe. But I can't be too unhappy either way. If I end up just shooting up the infantry, that's great too. One last vainglorious charge by the Catholic Cav to try to help the infantry get out of there or whatever, and they were destroyed. Countercharges, both cases successful. Actually, neither case particularly advantageous for the Swedes. One at 0, one at -1, but they were the best they could do. But they got lucky, and the piles increased. But also, you see a couple of Swedes in the pursuit box that weren't there before. Well, let's just finish this out. We've got, who was that going? That was, they trumped in to stop the infantry from getting an attack on this one. And now I've just got infantry, cav wing. Let's see what else shows up. But at the end of this turn, it's over because the Catholics cannot get out of rally, possibly. They're in an enforced rally position. Well, that's the end of the battle. This guy's running off 1, 2, 3. But otherwise, I managed to knock out a couple of units pushing down, coming from here. This didn't get taken care of. This ended too quickly. I'll count up the losses and come back with the total score, but I think this is a pretty substantial Swedish victory. Just looking at the pile, that's there's a lot of Catholic units in there, and these add up pretty quickly, actually. Oh yeah, 501 to 198. Subtract the 198. 303, well over the Swedish decisive victory. And, you know, I mean, it should have been clear from the field. It was pretty clear. But I like to do the calculation just to make sure that my sense is correct. These are tough games when you don't have the good forces. The Swedes clearly had the superior troops there. And I haven't yet to really figure out, especially where the terrain's kind of open, how to handle troops that are just better quality. I think the Imperials have more numbers in this one. Indeed they do. They have about 100 more numbers of troops on the field, it looks like. So, you know, that's more to lose, right? And that's part of the problem is you can really get hosed that way. All right, well, we got one more battle from this series to go, from this game in the series to go. I'm going to put that off and do something else in between. I'm feeling a little fatigued with it. Even though, you know, I took a long break and played a lot of other things in between. But, I don't know. These are more fatiguing than, certainly than SPQR, but I think than most of the Great Battles of History stuff. Just in terms of the amount of attention you have to pay. And doing 2 boxes of them almost in a row the way I did with the Oh, what did I just do? I just did the Saints in Armor, I guess. I don't think I did anything in between them. Anyway, yeah, I had kind of these images of, yeah, we'll go on to the Lily Banners and then A Cursed Civil War. But, I think I can put it away for a little while. Get back to these a little later. There are a lot of other tactical systems I want to get to that I haven't gotten to. But I kind of feel this need to complete this in the Great Battles of History because I started them. Of course, I also started Great Battles of American Civil War. And does that mean I need to do Terrible Swift Sword? I don't know. All right, up it goes.